Dream. Anything is possible. I was born to do something no one's ever done before. You get what you work for, not what you wish for. Dreamer and Route Podcast.
Welcome, podcasters, to the fourth episode of the Dreamer and Route podcast. It has been a while since I released an episode, but with the Speak Your Truth open mic hiatus in the month of September, I thought what better time than to dig deep and get to know some of the artists in the Chicago poetry scene that are making strides by speaking life and love into people's hearts and minds. In this episode, we are going to have a heart-to-heart with Hoodraised.
Peace and blessings, Queen. I appreciate you for having me,
No, I'm really happy that you came out because this is such a great thing for me because I stepped into this scene a year ago, literally, and you were one of the first people that caught my eye. And it's by no mistake because you're a leader in the community.
I try to put my best foot forward. Each time somebody dropped a gem to me, I pick it up. So once I'm done with that gem, I had to drop it to the next person for them to pick it up. Each one teach one.
Okay. So, since this is a heart-to-heart, I really want to spend a lot of time getting to know you, not just as an artist, but as a person and sort of what led you to become Hoodraised and what inspires you to continue every day.
Okay, we start with the moniker. Hoodraised is me paying homage to the two men that raised me. I was raised by two fathers. Didn't have a great relationship with my mom. And my biological father, Ali, he was a gang chief from the neighborhood I grew up in. So he spent the first 15, nearly 16 years of my life in and out of prison. So I got kind of this hood mentality from him. But while Ali was in prison, my father, Joe, who happened to just live in our building, he was a Marine. And so he was a retired Marine, so me and my two brothers, he gave us these principles, he raised us the right way. Be a man, honor, integrity, work hard, the things that men are supposed to do. So, and then when Ali got out of prison, they became friends, and so I had two fathers always in my ear teaching me things about life. So hood, one gave me a hood mentality, the other raised me right, so that's where Hoodraised came from. Okay. And because of that, I try to take that dynamic everywhere. I'm a gentleman first, so when I'm around, I try to show the ladies and the young men how to walk as a man, that I was raised right. And then when the scenario calls for it, I let it be known I'm also hood. I'm not about that extra.
Okay, yeah. We hear you, but that's a blessing. To have two dynamic, powerful men in your life to shape you and mentor you. But a lot of times some individuals don't have that.
Right.
So what advice do you have for those individuals who haven't had that blessing that you had growing up without that strong male leadership?
There's always a male in your proximity. Maybe you haven't reached out to him. I understand a lot of households are raised as mom was super mom. Maybe dad wasn't around, but then there's the big cousin, there's an uncle. There's always a positive male presence around that can help. Because certain things, honestly, women do their best, and make no mistake about it, I'm not trying to downplay the presence of a woman because it's needed. But I feel like the male figure is there to put the boundaries in place and to help with the hardships that certain women can't quite understand. So it's always for the community centers to the neighborhoods, it's always somewhere that there's a positive male around that can help.
Okay. And are you willing to be that positive male?
That's the point I play right now. So
everyone out there, you can reach out to Hoodraised if you need someone positive in your life.
Anytime.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about how did you become an artist in the poetry space?
Okay. Literally, I stumbled upon it. growing up in my neighborhood, and which is common in most of the urban areas, hip hop fan. You know, you had a love for hip hop, and we all dabbled in rapping at some point or another. But then there was a point where rap began to be more about sound than lyric. Mm-hmm. So, you know, but I always just kind of had a fetish for words. And then this one particular day I was working at this place, Jewel Warehouse in Melrose Park. And
I know that place, by the way.
My brother at the time, Jason Williams, he was the person who was training me. And we had in the cafeteria one day, and somebody just started beating on the table. And we just started freestyling rapping. Mm-hmm. And the next week, I was teasing him like, yeah, let's get it cracking, let's kick off a cypher. He was like, man, bro, come to this inspirational open mic with me. Mm-hmm. I had no idea what an inspirational open mic was.
Right.
When I walked in, I'm like, all right, I support a co-worker, you know what I mean? So I go in, check it out, and the very first voice I heard turned out to be the person most responsible for me being on the portrait scene. Is my big brother Momentum. He was the host of the event, and he was spitting his piece, and I was just like, this is poetry? Wow.
Okay.
And I found my home.
Okay. All right. And so after that, you started writing.
I was always writing. I found a place to release it.
Okay.
So cause prior to that, you know, it was always just some, I write it, just keep it in a notebook, you know, cause you know, if I happen to run across somebody who had a hip hop cipher or something going on, then I perform. But there was never any real, it wasn't as many open mics that I knew about where I can get and just sit down and tell my stories and spit the way I want to spit. Cause I focused on lyricism.
Uh-huh. And how long ago was this?
13 years.
Okay, so you've been in the game 13 years.
13
okay.
years.
Can you release something for us real quick? It doesn't have to be long, just something.
Okay. Where I'm from, if you saw off the streets, they'll abuse you. See, I'm from where women drink and smoke more weed than the dudes do. Trying to separate the men from the boys will only confuse you or almost follow the same path, and I just refuse to. Because where I'm from, kids are not trained on how to act because their parents preoccupied trying to bring their sexy back. And they prefer to form a discipline as a pump in the chest or a smack, and they claim to be role models, but they far less than that. Where I'm from, ladies have a warped mind state. Because their perfect idea of a come up is Section 8. She got a stall sense of thinking, but the brain and sex is great. Keep her hair and nails done to pay her bills extra late. Live in a recycled trend of poverty and seem to accept their fate. Not knowing that above all this she can elevate. Because the self-motivation and preservation is second rate. Then she wonder why the good men never ask for a second date. Where I'm from, young ladies are robbed of their purity. Young men buy guns for the false sense of security. It's like they've been brainwashed and not trained to think hard. Instead of hush for legit money, they stand in line for link cars. Where I'm from, survival has to be part of your instinct. It's a struggle where I'm from. I'm from Pulaski and 16.
Hey, oh my God, that was so amazing, everyone. Hoodraised, okay.
Thank you.
All right, so you've really perfected your craft. You're really good, really, really good. How long, and this is for the artists who are just starting out, like myself, I'm just starting out. How long before it just starts flowing?
Well, that depends on the individual, because it depends on where you draw your inspiration from. I won't say I'll perfect it. I'll say I am a student, so now I'm at a point where I'm able to teach now. Mm-hmm. I have a few years under my belt. I've been in almost every scenario. I've performed in front of a crowd of 3 people. I've performed in front of a crowd of 3,000. Mm-hmm. So it is, each situation it teaches you something different. And then I draw inspiration from life. Mm-hmm. I might be sitting on the train one day and just see a young sister pushing a stroller, mm-hmm. and that inspires a piece. So right. Once it flows out of you, once you get those first couple lines, then it just keeps going. Okay. So it depends on the actual scenario where you draw your inspiration from.
And how often do you write?
Oh, I write 5 out of 7 days a week. I might take 2 days to just kind of relax, family time, be with my kids or whatever. But I'm always gonna delegate some time to just sit down, even if it's something I just jot. Okay. Not even something I keep. Mm-hmm. I always just make time to write.
Okay. And have there ever been any times where you felt unmotivated or scared or fearful? Because it takes a lot to open up and release the way you do in front of people.
Believe it or not, I'm nervous before every performance.
Really?
Yeah, nerves is part of the
even after
process.
13 years.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
The minute you feel like you've made it,
Mm-hmm.
then you cheated yourself out of a chance to grow. So like, I might perform a piece. I might perform a piece Monday in front of this crowd, and then perform it Thursday, and that crowd might not be feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
So the next time that poem is in my rotation to perform, I'm nervous about it because maybe it's not received well. You know what I mean? And those things happen. I would say the biggest time, my biggest moment where I felt the most fear was it was years ago. My daughter, I want to say it probably was her 8th grade luncheon, and me having the relationships that I had with her school. I had been one of the parent volunteers and things like that. So the principal put me on the spot to come perform right then and there.
Right. Okay.
And I hadn't had anything prepared, so I had to kind of get up there and go with the flow. You know what I mean? I mean, it was well received, but I've never been that nervous ever before.
Right.
Because I had a reputation of being a nationally recognized poet, and people had been, supporting my art and coming to my shows. But that's all kind of premeditated. That's all preset.
Right.
So I didn't have, but on the spot at that moment, I didn't have anything prepared. So I had to kind of mesh a couple pieces together along with freestyle to put something together for the moment.
Okay. But you were able to do that.
Yeah.
Some people can't, put that together. So you stepped up. So okay. And so finish your story.
That was pretty much, that was pretty much it. Like at that point, one of the keys is you are in control of your art. Not the audience, not the promoter, not the whoever. You are in control. So it could be a poem you performed 100 times. Who's to say you can't cut it off halfway in and then perform something else?
Okay.
Who in the audience knows your work better than you? So you stop when you want to stop. You perform when the moment you feel like it's there where you feel like you gave enough of it, then cut it. So you can do it so you don't like it.
Okay. All right. Definitely. So you have an open mic in Chicago.
Yes.
I'm just starting out with Speak Your Truth, but Addie's open mic has been, a dynasty in Chicago for 7 years now?
7 years, 7.5 years now.
Okay, so why don't you talk a little bit about that and like that development from like starting out to where you are now? Okay,
so Addie's Sundays open mic, 6624 West North Avenue, every first Sunday of the month. The concept was based off what I experienced when I first went to an open mic. Like I told you, I went with Jason and I met my brother Momentum. And I was instantly hooked. And I told you I had already been a hip hop artist, so I felt like I could write. But I didn't feel like I was ready to get up on stage in front of these dope poets and do some poetry. I didn't know I could. And then Momentum and Jason and 411, a couple of these people came through, cuffed me, helped me find my voice, and helped me be comfortable with being me. And I said, if I ever got the opportunity, I want to provide a platform for other artists. Like the premise of Addie's is for new artists to come and hone their craft.
Right.
When I first came up with the idea, I was like, I want to have a newcomers open mic. That was supposed to be the plan. Now, that was always been the foundation, but the veterans, everybody come out because it's about having fun there. But the new artists, hey, you come read from your phone, come read from your notebook. You don't gotta have it committed to memory. You don't have to have that I am a poet, so I talk like this voice. You come and be yourself and be comfortable. And you're gonna be celebrated for being yourself.
Right.
That is what has kept it engaged, because there's always new artists.
Right.
It's always somebody who want to get up and perform. So regardless, again, we'll have between 75, 80 people there. And on any given night, it's 15 people who've never been. And of those 15 people, it's 5 who want to perform for the first time.
Right.
So as long as that's happening, then we're doing our job as artists, because we continue to feed into the crowd.
Okay. Well, that's really good. So people come because they feel comfortable.
Yes.
It's like, this is the newcomers open mic. Okay. So what advice do you have before we even go into like advice for me, why don't you like just give people, because like I'm from a small town, and a lot of my following is from my hometown. Why don't you describe the Chicago poetry scene to people who don't know what it is?
It is wide and open, honestly. There is a variety of personalities, what you can expect when it comes to artistry, because artistry is full of people, headstrong individuals. But come and you will be able to fit into a lane that's for you. What I love and the angle I take is I don't believe in art being in the box. So although I've won several erotic awards, never call me an erotic poet. Although I have a curriculum that's being taught in the after school program, I don't want to be considered a poet just for the kids. I don't want to be considered a political poet. I don't want to be considered a religious artist.
Right.
I just want to be an artist, because artist means my voice can be heard in so many different demographics. And I feel like because of that, it opens doors for so many different people. I could connect with somebody on this particular genre. I can connect with somebody on this genre. And the same thing can go for you, new artists. You know what I mean? Come and frequent a few events. You'll get a chance to see where you're most comfortable. And wherever you're most comfortable, that's where you begin to let your voice out and build on it. Because then you'll find encouragement and support in what you want to do.
Okay. And how do you build confidence?
By being consistent.
Okay.
Even though I'm nervous, there's a certain comfort I get once I begin, because once I'm in the rhythm, once I've lathered up my vocals and I'm ready to speed up, slow down, tongue twist, whatever I'm gonna do in this particular piece. Once I've done it enough, I'm comfortable enough to know that I can pull it off. My confidence comes from once I perform, that person that walks up and be like, "Bro, that was amazing," or "Hey, dude, where can I find your art? How can I support you?" Though that builds confidence, because that lets me know that I'm putting the right energy out.
Okay. And so I have a personal question, and then I don't know, maybe other people can relate to this, but as like an artist who's just starting, sometimes I feel like I'm not good enough, that I shouldn't be doing this, that I'm just being crazy and everyone's laughing at me. Like, how do you get like over those type of fears? Like, just
recognizing that nobody can still tell your story better than you. This is something that we all deal with. Again, me being recognized as one of the quote unquote pillars in the Chicago industry, that doesn't always translate when I go to Milwaukee.
right.
Well, when I just did this tour from Vegas to LA. But me being able to get out and do what I do, there's no other Hoodraised. And the story that Hoodraised has to tell, it's somebody in the audience that's gonna relate to it, because somebody's been through what I've been through. Somebody can hear what I'm speaking on. And the minute you have that confidence in yourself, in whatever, whether it's a tragic story, whether it's a happy story, whether it's something that you made up, but it's entertaining. Somebody can relate.
Right.
So never be uncomfortable with being yourself.
Right.
That's the key, because at the end of the day, I still have my artists that I look up to, but I don't want to be anybody but me.
Okay.
I mean, that's the same approach you have to take, whether you're established veteran or a newcomer. You got to be comfortable being you.
Okay, I just have a few more questions.
Take your time.
Okay. So, I'm on this path to create Speak Your Truth. And, at Eddie's Open Mic has been here for 7 years. It's a pillar in the Chicago community. Speak Your Truth. We're just coming out. What advice do you have for me as I try to sort of, not necessarily mirror, but and not walk into your footsteps, but sort of try to create the platform that you have successfully already created?
First, establish what your particular audience is, right? who you want to target. And when you get those particular people, you build on it, and each one teach one. Mm-hmm. Like, understand that it's a process. It's not gonna be an overnight thing. Mm-hmm. And then don't get caught up in the hype of the first few occasions, because every time something new pops up, everybody want to be at the something new. Mm-hmm. It's about what you give in the consistent part. Mm-hmm. That's what's gonna matter. Like, if you're a monthly, right, and your first set is January, February, maybe even March might be cracking. Mm-hmm. It's about what you do in April, May, and June that's gonna matter. Mm-hmm. So never be scared to reinvent yourself, and make your patrons comfortable. Mm-hmm. Make it about them. Don't make it about the dollar. Mm-hmm. Don't make it about the ego. Mm-hmm. Make it about the comfort of the art, because that's the one thing that has everybody in there. You as a host, your features, and the patrons, they all love art. Okay. So make it about the art, and that's gonna draw people in, and that's gonna make them want to be there.
That's really good advice. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I hate to ask this, but can you give us a little something when we close out here now?
Absolutely.
Okay.
When she speaks, it's sweet, like the nectar of a fully ripe peach. They say that poetry can soothe the soul of a savage lion. No wonder when I hear her, I get a sense of peace. It's like she essentially makes love to loose leaf sheets. The elegant elements of her etiquette are evident, and lyrically, she's a beast. So I intently hang on to every word, every specific syllable and sound. And what began to manifest in front of my eyes is royalty with an invisible crown. A level of radiance unattainable through physical attributes. See, this ain't sexy. This is beauty without bounds. It's not a game, because that'd be foul play and not be out of bounds. Her persona, so profound. And I'm in awe of her flawless makeup. Not the fake stuff like matte gloss or lipsticks. She inspires every part of me to be more manly, and I'm not talking about my dipstick. She's not caught up in superficial glamour, so every 5 minutes there's no need to change clothes. But I'm inspired by the power that her brain holds. How she's brave and bold, being one of God's angels capable of saving a soul. And I want to tag along in this journey, and I'm hoping I'm able to go with a connection, not of a simple kind, but our minds intertwine and the mental unwind. And I guess that's what happens when you're sexual, when you're just admiring another intellectual.
Oh my God, beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming out and taking the time to talk to us today. I really appreciate it. And
My pleasure.
I'm sure everyone appreciates it too.
My pleasure. Please continue to support the arts in every form. I am a published author. I have 6 spoken word CDs. You can follow me at all social media. I'm Hoodraised, no crazy spelling, just HOODRAISED, Hoodraised. You can purchase my book on Amazon. It's called Jotted Gems. It's a collection of different poetry segments that I've put out throughout over a course of time, dealing with different aspects of life. And you can also find it on my website, hoodraisedpoetry.com. Feel free to support Instagram, Hoodraised, Facebook, Hoodraised, YouTube, Hoodraised 1000. I appreciate all the support. Thank you.
All right, thank you.